Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Beth, here to help you fulfill your potential in meditation. As most of you know, I don't have just one method that I teach to everybody, like one size fits all. Instead, I much prefer to teach people one-on-one. And the reason is that you're all different. So please use these videos as a guideline. And if there's anything that isn't quite working for you or anything that doesn't quite fit, then be in touch and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you individually. Today's video is about learning to discern the 8 mental factors that arise in every single mind moment. Now, obviously, this video is going to make much more sense to you if you're already familiar with seeing the mind moments. So that means you've already broken through the illusion of the mind being one continual stream of experience, and instead you're able to see the mind as discrete moments of experience coming into and out of existence very quickly, one after the other. Now, I've made a separate video on learning to see those mind moments, so if you haven't done so already, I suggest that you watch that video, but not only watch the video, also do the practice if you can, because this one's going to be much more intuitive to you if you're already familiar with seeing those mind moments in practice. Now, if you are familiar with seeing those mind moments, then you will have noticed that different moments have different mental qualities. And usually the term we use for these mental qualities is mental factors. In Pali, we use the word cetasika. And although different moments do have different mental factors, they do have different cetasika, there are 8 mental factors that are common to all mind moments. And these 8 mental factors do the bulk of the work in the knowing of an object, so it's really important that we can discern them clearly. So, what are these 8 mental factors that arise in every single mind moment? Well, the first mental factor we call chitta in Pali, usually translated as consciousness. And we could think of this as the bare knowing of the object, just bare awareness of the object. Consciousness knows the object, it doesn't do anything else. The second mental factor is phassa in Pali, usually translated as contact. And this is the mental factor that contacts the object. So it's the mind contacting the object, as if the mind were to touch the object. That's phassa. The third mental factor is vedana in Pali. This one's a difficult one to translate into English. Oftentimes it's translated as feeling. But by feeling, we don't mean emotion. And we also don't mean physical sensations. Instead, we mean the quality of the experience that is either pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. So that's the function of Vedana, is to experience the object as being either pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. The fourth mental factor is sanya in Pali, usually translated as perception. And this mental factor does the function of recognition. So it knows the object as, for example, knows the object as red, as blue, as tree, as car, as Beth, or whatever the object may be. So that's sanya, it is recognizing the object. The next mental factor is cetana in Pali, usually translated as intention or volition. So this is the active doing, intending, volition mental factor. The next mental factor is ekaggata in Pali, usually translated as one-pointedness. And what this means is that one moment can only have one object. We don't have one mind moment that knows 2 things at the same time. One moment, one object. The next mental factor is jivita in Pali, usually translated as life faculty. And this mental factor does the function of nourishing and maintaining the other mental factors in the same moment. Now, the final mental factor of these 8 is manasikara in Pali. And this one's usually translated as attention. So this is the active attention of the mind on the object. So those are the 8 mental factors that arise in every single moment. Now, what do we do if we want to discern them in practice? Well, a good place to start is to re-establish our concentration. So if you've already practiced the jhanas, then you want to re-establish your jhana concentration. If you haven't practiced the jhanas, then you will want to establish a deep and stable access concentration. Once that concentration is well established, we then want to bring our attention to our heart and sustain our attention there until we can clearly see the mind moments arising and passing away. When we can clearly see that arising and passing away of the mind moments, then we want to bring our attention to the first of these 8 mental factors, citta. And we want to sustain our attention on the arising and passing away of those mind moments, looking just for the characteristics of citta. Now, citta is very subtle, so you might need to have a few tries until it becomes clear, until you can clearly see it arising and passing away in every mind moment. When you can clearly discern citta, then you want to move on to the next mental factor, phassa, contact, and again sustain your attention on your heart area until you can clearly see phassa arising and passing away in every moment. You then want to repeat this process with all of the 8 mental factors. Now, when we can clearly see each of the 8 mental factors arising and passing away one by one, we want to practice to see them as a group. Now, if your wisdom is sharp, you might be able to do that right away. So you pay attention to your heart, you see the mind moments arising and passing away, and you can see these 8 factors as a group arising and passing away in every mind moment. If it's not clear straight away, then you can also try building up the mental factors one by one until you can see them as a group. So you'll see first just citta arising and passing away, then the first 2, citta and phassa, then 3 at a time, then 4 at a time, until eventually you can see all 8 mental factors arising and passing away together in every mind moment. Now, it's an incredibly subtle practice, but it's also a very interesting practice, and it is foundational to the whole of the rest of our Vipassana practice. So what I would suggest is that you get off of those screens, get onto the cushions and actually give this practice a go. See if you can discern those 8 mental factors that are arising and passing away in every single mind moment. If there's anything that isn't working for you or anything that doesn't quite fit, then be in touch with me and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you individually. As most of you know, I do all of my work on a donation basis, so I encourage you to support me either through Patreon or through my website so that I can continue to make these videos. Thank you so much for your support. Wishing you the best with your meditation.